Elections Canada offices are now open for people to vote in person. Stacey Comer has all the details.
The federal election is coming up September 20th, and I'm pleased to be joined today by Leanne Nerfer from Elections Canada. Leanne, thank you for speaking with us today.
No problem, Stacey.
So as of today, a lot of the Election Canada offices are open, and while we're not calling this advance polls, people can vote in person. Is that correct?
Right. So I think what's important to know is that right from when the Elections Canada office is open up until September the 14th at 6 p.m., anyone can vote at any Elections Canada office across the country. You don't need to be in your riding. You can go into an office and vote. You will be using a special ballot process, and you will need to show proof of your identity and your address, and you will be able to cast your ballot that way.
Now, we have two separate ridings because of the fact we are in a city that is half in Alberta and half in Saskatchewan. We have the Lakeland riding, and then we have the Battleford Lloydminster riding as well. Offices are open in both of those areas. So do you happen to have the locations of where those offices are at, Leanne?
The locations are actually available on the Elections Canada website.
Okay.
So if you go to the voter information service that's provided on the Elections Canada website at elections.ca, you can enter in your postal code, and that's where you will find the Elections Canada office that's closest to you. So you can search for it that way, and there you will also find the hours of the offices as well.
And in regards to mail-in ballots, can people stop at these offices and get information on the mail-in ballots as well?
Right. So you can apply to vote by mail up until September the 14th at 6 p.m. as well. And you can do that either in line, or you can go in person and request to have a special ballot kit sent to you in the mail. If you're in the office, you may just want to vote at that time anyway, but you can also request that that package be mailed to you. And when you vote by mail, you will also need to provide proof of your identity and your address, and you'll be sent the special voting kit in the mail, and you will have to have that returned back into the office. You can request the special voting kit until September the 14th at 6 p.m. So if you're planning to vote by mail, it's important that you request your package to be sent to you in the mail as soon as possible. And again, if you have any questions or wondering about that process, the Elections Canada website provides all the information on applying for the ballot, what you need to provide, what the dates will be, and how to send that back into Elections Canada to be counted. The other options, of course, are voting at the advance polls. And for this election, those will be held September the 10th to the 13th. Right across the country, those polls will be open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And you can find the address of where your location is to vote on your voter information card that you should be receiving in the mail by September the 10th. This voter information card is important because it tells you where your polling location is. Things like accessibility at that polling location. So if you have any concerns at all about accessibility, getting inside, you can contact Elections Canada and ask questions about that. You can also obviously see the dates and times of when advance polling will take place. And then finally, voting on election day, September the 20th, and the polls will be open for 12 hours on that day as well. So there are a number of options if people are wanting to vote anytime now up until September 14th at the Elections Canada offices. After that, your options are and voting by mail, requesting the ballot by September 14th as well. After that, your options are advance polls and election day polls.
So just to clarify, Leanne, if people are going to vote in person at these Elections Canada office now, what is the last day they can vote in person at those Elections Canada offices?
The last day is Tuesday, September the 14th at 6 p.m.
Okay, and if anybody wants just more information, as you said, trying to find their candidate, I know voter cards have been sent out, but a lot of people don't have them yet. So if they want information on where to vote their candidate, all of this information, what is the best way to find that?
So the best way is to go online to elections.ca. There is a section right off of the homepage, as well as a section for voters to use. And there's a tool called the Voter Information Service. And what you do is you enter your postal code into that Voter Information Service, and it's going to bring up where your Elections Canada office is. You'll be able to see the links to the candidates that are running in your riding, and times of the polls and things like that. So electionscanada.ca. If you don't have access to the internet, you can always contact Elections Canada. The phone number is 1-800 463-6868.
All right, Leanne, well, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And I know there's a lot of information out there. So I think we've given a good source of where people can go to get all of that in one place. So once again, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome, Stacey, anytime.
Tomorrow is the first day of classes for school divisions across Lloydminster, and for students attending the Lloydminster Catholic School Division, new regulations are in place this year. LCSC has been receiving updates from the Saskatchewan government over the course of the summer, and this year masks are returning in some aspects.
We'll be masking in common areas, so in the hallways when kids are between classes from kindergarten to grade 6, students will wear masks. From grade 7 through 12, students are not required to wear masks.
This year, the school division is looking forward to a return to school that is as normal as possible while connecting with their students.
Government does alter its requirements in real time, and we are required to respond to those requirements in real time. So we appreciate the flexibility of our community and of our parents and the understanding that the situation does evolve.
If there is a number of positive COVID-19 cases in classes, they will be moved to remote learning in certain situations. This year, the Lloydminster Public School Division will also be introducing new regulations to their staff and students. LPSC is excited to get their students back into their schools and try to return to normal. While masking was mandatory across LPSC in the previous school year, this year they will be mandatory in common areas for all ages.
Students in elementary schools are in their classrooms and at their desk, then they're more than welcome to take their mask off. So certainly we want to make sure that kids are able to have a good portion of their day without having a mask on, but understanding that right now students under the age of 12 have not had access to vaccine.
Vaccines won't be mandatory for students and staff in the division at this time. LPSD will also be trying to limit mass gatherings at schools.
Principals to rethink those mass gatherings and try to make them a little more manageable from a size perspective, especially in elementary schools. Less worried about that in middle years and at the high school, but in elementary schools where students that or families that would want to access vaccine haven't had the opportunity yet.
For students or staff who test positive for COVID-19, there will be different processes for different age groups as vaccinations play a factor in who need to isolate. Claims that a livestock dewormer as a cure for COVID-19 has led to a rise in demand for the product. Requests for ivermectin became so frequent at Lone Star Tack and Feed south of Calgary, they had to pull the product from shelves. Doctors in Canada and the U.S. are warning against the use of it for COVID, with the Food and Drug Administration issuing this statement Saturday following reports of people being hospitalized after taking it.
When people phone in and they don't have animals and they're not telling us why they're buying it and they don't know what the PID program is and it's been in place for 7 years, it's a pretty good indicator that they're not going to be using it for the right reasons.
We have no evidence whatsoever that this works for either preventing or treating COVID. We have seen seizures, coma, and death from high-dose ivermectin.
Dr. Jean says the most safe and effective way to prevent COVID-19 is to get fully vaccinated. Now our Shelby Clark will take a first look at your weather forecast. Thanks so much, Jazz. And now taking a first look at your weather forecast here in the border city, we are sitting at 20 degrees with a mix of some sun and cloud there with 14 kilometers winds coming from the south-southwest. But earlier this morning we did see cloudier skies and a little bit of rainfall there, but we have warmed up a little bit later on through the day today, and hopefully we will stay warmer throughout the week, but we actually will be dropping. But as we look at temperatures across the region here in the provinces on the Alberta side, Provost is at 21 degrees, while Wainwright is at 16 and Vegreville is at 15 degrees. And Vermilion is at 19, and Edmonton's a bit cooler at that 12-degree mark there. And Marne is at 20 degrees, while St. Paul, Bonnyville, Cold Lake, and Lac La Biche are at that 20 to 22-degree mark there. But from this area here in St. Paul up to Lac La Biche, they do have a severe thunderstorm watch, so make sure if you're in that area that you are watching out for some severe weather. But now as we move on to North Battleford here overnight, they will be seeing a low of 9 degrees overnight with a lot more clear skies, but they will be seeing around a high chance of a thunderstorm overnight, with some more clear skies, and tomorrow they will be warming up to a high of 19 degrees there with a mix of some sun and cloud. Now, Cold Lake overnight, they will be seeing a low of 10 degrees there with a severe thunderstorm watch, as I was saying, overnight, but that will possibly going over into the next day at tomorrow with a high of 17 there and a mix of some sun and cloud, but they will be seeing a chance of showers tomorrow. But now, as we were saying before, that kids are going back to school in the divisions here in Lloydminster, actually, so they will be seeing, the kids will be starting off with 10 degrees there going into school again with a mix of some sun and cloud, and around recess time it will be warming up a little bit at 12 degrees there, and at lunchtime it will be going a degree warmer there at 13 degrees with a lot more cloudier skies, and we'll be seeing around that same temperature when the school day is let out for that first day of school. So starting off in September, we are starting off a bit cooler there. But now as we move on to our 3-day forecast here in the border city, on Thursday we will be seeing a high of 16 on Thursday with a high chance of some showers, and a high of 13 on Wednesday with a high chance of showers as well. But as we end off on Friday there for the long weekend, we will be seeing a high of 18 with a mix of some sun and cloud. That is our first look at your weather forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
The new edition of the Old Farmer's Almanac is now available to purchase. Stacey Comer had the chance to find out what the people behind the publication are predicting for our winter weather forecast.
Our friend Jack Burnett with the Old Farmer's Almanac is joining us again today because the almanac has been released for the upcoming season. Jack, this is an exciting time of year for you guys, and the one reason, or one of the main reasons people go to the almanac is for the forecast. So what are we going to see out this way for the coming winter?
Stacey, you know, it's great to be with you again, and I have to tell you, you get a great honor because before the fall is over with, I will have done dozens and dozens and dozens of interviews for our new edition, and you're the first. So congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you.
You beat CBC and everybody else. So what's it going to be like? It's going to be temperatures slightly warmer than normal, or I should say not quite so cold as normal. Precipitation greater than normal, but snowfall less than normal. So it's kind of a funny forecast. On our map, it says mild and wet, but it's not really going to be mild. It's not mild in Lloydminster, in the winter. But we're looking at kind of a softer winter, you might say, overall. We're looking at the coldest periods to be the very end of December and beginning of January, so around the holidays. And then again from mid-January through the end of that month. And then interestingly, we don't really see any really super cold periods after January. There will be, but real cold spells that last for days and weeks. As far as snowfall goes, what we're looking at is the end of November. So it's going to be somewhat of an early winter, the middle part of January, and the beginning of March.
And sorry, Jack, I was just going to say, as far as the summer goes, this past summer that we have had was so hot and so dry. If I'm looking at the forecast correctly for next summer, it looks like maybe we're not going to have as serious conditions as we had this past summer.
Right, there will still, it'll still be warm. There's no question about it. But overall, we're looking for the prairies to be cooler than normal, a little bit cooler than normal. So that'd be good, but not so much that it's going to really affect anything. It's just not, we don't expect it to be a scorcher like it is now, or it has been. And Lloydminster, of course, is kind of right on the borderline of our map, between a little wetter than normal and a little drier than normal. So it's kind of like Goldilocks, that means that it's going to be kind of like just right, right where you are. So that should be good.
Now, Jack, one of the things that is questioned with the almanac is the accuracy. And I know that you do track that. So how accurate were the predictions for the past summer compared to what happened and what you predicted?
Well, I don't have them in front of me for the summer itself. Because we don't do our calculations until the following January. So all I can tell you is that last year for the year of 2020, we were 78.5% accurate. That's below our 80%, our usual 80%. We go up, we go down, and so forth. But we never, we sometimes have time to change our forecast because it's done like 1.5 to 2 years in advance, but we never change it. We always stick by the old ways, and it is what it is. And sometimes we're above, sometimes we're below.
Now, one nice thing about the almanac is that it's not just weather, it has so many unique things. I mean, we could probably talk for an hour about everything that's in the almanac, but one thing I noticed this year too, like the recipes are always so unique and different. Do you take contributions for those, or how do you go about deciding what recipes go in this?
Well, we have our website, almanac.ca, has a vast treasure trove of recipes where we get some of them. We have a food editor who kind of keeps a handle on all things related to food. But we also have every year, we have a recipe contest. So and we get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of submissions from all across Canada. I mean, in this particular edition, we have an article called 4 Seasons of Taste, which has a particular recipe for each season, so that we got from our own archives. But we have another one which is our recipe contest results, which came from our winners from all across Canada. That was about recipes with 5 or fewer ingredients. There are, as I say, they come from all over. So there are quite a few of them, and we taste them. It's not like we kind of pull them out of a hat or something. We have these, we have tasters out in the community, and then eventually we have like these get-togethers of our editorial staff, and we, if the theme of the year is macaroni, we sit around and eat more macaroni than you ever want to eat in your life. But the recipes this year are great. I think that the winners, the first place winner, by the way, this year was apricot sriracha glazed baby back ribs. So, what's not to like? You know what I'm saying?
Well, Jack, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. And the almanac is out now. I know that you can get them in local bookstores, also online. And if people are looking for more information, can you just give us that website again, just to go check out the actual website as well?
Sure. Our website is almanac.ca. It has literally hundreds and hundreds of free pages about gardening, food, weather, astronomy, history, humor, and on and on and on. And if people would like to, get our Old Farmer's Almanac or our Old Farmer's Almanac for Kids, which we also have, they can do that at their local booksellers, as you say, or hardware store, or big box, whatever, or Amazon.ca. We are encouraging people to use Amazon if they can, rather than our store, because quite frankly, our store is totally overwhelmed. So we don't, we want people to get their orders quickly, and so the fastest way to do that, if you can't do it in person at a store, is through Amazon.
All right, Jack. Well, once again, it's always been a pleasure to speak with you, and we'll chat again as it gets closer to our winter here, and just see if things have changed a little bit and what's happening with you. So thank you so much, and I look forward to going through and reading the whole almanac once again. My
pleasure. Thank you very much, Stacey.
Now here are your stock market prices for today.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
Welcome back. Details about how Saskatchewan producers can receive agri-recovering funding has been released by the Ministry of Agriculture. Jillian Code has the details.
The government of Saskatchewan has released their plan to get agri-recovery funding to farmers. Any Saskatchewan producer who has claimed farm income is eligible for funding up to $200 per head of livestock.
So this application is going to be made available September 1st, and they're going to be able to access that. They can come to our website at www.scic.ca, and they can access all the information they need as well as the application forms. They also can come into their local crop insurance offices and access that there as well.
Funding for producers will be determined using an animal unit equivalency scale. Beef, dairy, and bison will be eligible for $100 per head. Elk are eligible for half of that at $50. Lastly, sheep and goats are eligible for $20 per head.
This first round of payments is a very simple process. And that is directed to producers with inventory as of August 1st.
An August 1st eligibility period ensures that producers who were impacted by feed losses in the month of August will be covered. The second payment will follow 2 months later.
November 1st, payment 2, the final payment, will be eligible for them to access to. And that will be more, that application process will be a little bit more detailed in exactly what it was that was your extraordinary expense.
The minimum total funding that producers can receive through this program is $500, with the maximum capped out at $3 million per farming operation. A phone line for questions related to the Drought Assistance Program has been set up. Producers can call 1-844-723-1211 or email skdri@scic.ca. The deadline to apply for either of the payments is January 31st, 2022. Jillian Code, Primetime Local News.
Now we'll take a look at your egg prices. The Lloydminster Bobcats hit the ice at the Civic Centre for 3 days of training camp this weekend. Jace Mackey has more on the camp as the team prepares for their first preseason game on Wednesday.
After COVID restrictions sidelined the Bobcats last season, the team's ready to bounce back this year. Head coach and general manager Nigel Dubé has high expectations heading into his third training camp with the team.
We've been in a 3-year process now, and this is the third one. Put an asterisk beside number 2, but we're not looking at it that way. We're looking at it a way to come out and being very competitive out of the gate. We have an older team than we have. We've been building on that foundation.
A total of 10 games were played over the span of the 3-day camp. For a team that hasn't seen game action in quite a while, it was important for Dubé to get the team back into game mode, favoring games over practices.
We got pretty banged up here in the first day with injuries and stuff, and that's going to happen. It happened a little bit quicker than we thought, but at the same time, it gave our guys an opportunity to get into the game mode and prepare for that moving forward.
Dubé likes what he's seen from the team so far.
I think we went through Friday and every team was 1-1-1. Close yesterday again, and then this morning even. 5-3 game and a really competitive game throughout. I think we look at it in the 3 days these guys have been on the ice about 9 times.
The Bobcats play their first preseason game against Olds on Wednesday before welcoming fans back to the Civic Centre for their home opener against Bonnyville on September 18th. Jace Mackey, Primetime Local Sports.
Now our Shelby Clark will take another look at your weather forecast. Thanks so much, Jasmine. Now taking a second look at your weather forecast here, we'll be starting off with taking a look at temperatures more across central Alberta and Saskatchewan. Here on the Alberta side, Whitecourt is at 10 degrees, while Athabasca is at 13, as well as in Edmonton. Edson and Jasper are a bit cooler. They're at 8 and 9 degrees there, and Rocky Mountain House is at 12 degrees, while Red Deer is at 16. Now looking over on this side here, Meadow Lake is at 18 degrees, while Prince Albert and Melfort are the warmest. They're at 25 and 26. Saskatoon's at 18, while North Battleford is at 22 degrees. But now moving in
into our northern region of the provinces here, Uranium City and Stony Rapids are at 22 and 25 degrees. Wollaston Lake is at 22 as well, so we're a little bit warmer over in our northern region. And South End and La Ronge are at 25 degrees, while Flin Flon is at 24, and La Loche and Buffalo Narrows are at 20 degrees. Now over on this side here, high level is at 17, while Peace River is at 14. Grand Prairie is a little bit cooler there at 10 degrees, and Slave Lake is at 13, while Fort McMurray and Fort Chipewyan are at 15 and 19 degrees. And now moving more into our southern region, looking a little bit warmer in most places except for in Banff is a little bit cooler there at 8 degrees there. Lethbridge is at 24, while Medicine Hat is at 27, so Medicine Hat is actually almost at that 30-degree mark there as well. Calgary is at 19 as well as in Coronation. And now over on this side here, Moose Jaw is a little bit close to the 30-degree mark there at 28 degrees, but Estevan actually reached it there at 30 degrees right now. Regina and Yorkton are at 26 and 27. Swift Current and Kindersley are at 26 and 24 degrees. But now as we look back at temperatures across the region here, overnight it will be cooling down just a little bit in most places. As you can see in Paradise Hill, Unity and Meadow Lake and Myrna will be seeing a low of 9 degrees, while Wainwright and Provost will be seeing a low of 8 and 7 degrees there. But Bonnyville, Meadow Lake, and Isla Crosse, Paradise Hill, and Pearson will all be seeing some chances of showers overnight, and most of them will be seeing thunder showers even overnight. But Isla Crosse will be seeing the warmest there at a low of 15 degrees with a lot more cloud coverage. And now taking a look at temperatures across the region for tomorrow, we will be cooling down quite a bit in most places, as you can see there. Here, especially in Lloydminster, we'll be seeing 13 tomorrow, and North Battleford will be seeing around 19 degrees tomorrow, but over in the Meadow Lake, Green Lake, and Isla Crosse area, they'll be seeing a little bit warmer there at 21 degrees. And now taking a look at our 7-day forecast for here in the border city. Wednesday, as I was saying, we will be going down to 13 degrees with around a 40% chance of precipitation there. But Thursday, we will be seeing a high of 16 with around a 70% chance of precipitation. So expect to see some showers these next coming days. But as we start off this weekend, this long weekend actually, on Friday, we'll be seeing a high of 18 on Friday with a mix of some sun and cloud. Saturday and Sunday, we'll be seeing a high of 22 on Saturday and a high of 19 on Sunday, but we will be seeing a little bit more sun peeking behind those clouds. And Monday, we'll be starting off more on a warmer note with a high of 20 on Monday with a lot more sun, and Tuesday, we'll see a lot more cloudier skies with a high of 19. That's the second look at your weather forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
Welcome back to Pet Project, everybody. We're joined once again this week with Becca Lawrence from the Lloydminster and Community SPCA. Becca, how's everything over there this week?
We're doing really good. How are you?
We're doing great over here. Thanks for asking. So we have a very cute, kind of special, kind of weird kitty this week. Why don't we talk about her a little bit?
Yeah, I'll try and pick her up here. So oh goodness, she's not wanting me to pick her up right now.
That's understandable.
Her name is Tippy. She's a little gray female kitty, and she's actually a polydactyl as well. If she is okay later on, I'll show you. But yeah, so she just got spayed. Initially, when she first came in, she was a bit on the shy side of things, but she's really come out of her shell. So we anticipate, like, if she goes into her new home, that she'll be a little bit shy for a little bit. But it doesn't really take her too long to come out of her shell. Like, typically you give her that good back scratch and she's best friends with you.
Yeah, she was sitting nice and pretty when we were chatting before we started here. Obviously, she just got a little squirmy when you went to go pick her up, which is fine.
Yeah.
Some cats don't like being picked up. I know my cat at home will let me hold her for maybe 10 seconds and then it's over. She's not a big fan of it. She puts up with it for me every once in a while. But, well, that's great. She does seem like a very nice cat. And so how are you guys doing for animal numbers, you know, just kind of in total? You know, I know it's summertime and there's always a big influx of animals. So just how is everything going over there?
It's okay. Obviously, you know, we're still cats. We filled right back up after our event. So that is what it is. You know, that was very, very anticipated. And then our dogs, actually, which wasn't anticipated, we are filling up on them as well. So currently right now we do have about 4 large breed dogs on the floor up for viewing. And then in our back, we have a couple puppies. So eventually in probably about a week and a half, we'll have some puppies up for viewing. And so anybody can come in and take a look at those after that 2-week period. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of, we're a little bit jam-packed right now. And so we're hoping that we can get them in for their surgeries here right away and find them some homes.
Well, that's unfortunate to hear that you guys are so packed full right now, but it is good news for anybody in the city who's, you know, maybe been looking for a dog to adopt. I know you guys were heavy on the cats, short on the dogs for a little while there. So if anybody out there has been waiting, you know, the stock is about to be refreshed at the SPCA, so to speak, soon here. So, you know, definitely keep an eye on the Instagram, the Facebook, you know, just keep an eye out for when those dogs hit the market, so to speak. Beautiful. Well, Becca, we had a few, you guys had a few fundraisers that kind of wrapped up last week. So why don't we take a minute just to talk about that? So first of all, you guys had obviously the Scoop fundraiser, which I hear, you know, was very popular. Lots of people were talking about it.
Yeah, so like they just wrapped up their season actually, so they're good and closed now, unfortunately, for the winter. But yeah, so they did a fundraiser for us, and from what we've heard, it's gone really well. We haven't got a total yet, but we're really excited to find that out, and we're just, again, really excited that we could have partnered up with them this year. And we also did one with Culligan Water, where they, on one of their machines, everything that was put into that machine for filling up water went directly to us. So that one was over $1,600 as well too. So we were just beyond ecstatic that everybody wanted to help us out this year.
Yeah, it's always wonderful to hear, you know, when the community comes out and they do a great job of helping raise money, you know, for the SPCA, and obviously people got ice cream and they got water out of it, so nobody left empty-handed, which is great to hear.
Right.
Beautiful. Well, I don't have a whole lot else for you this week, Becca, but, you know, if you guys need any physical item donations, you know, I always like to ask, so is there anything that you guys are looking for this week?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, with the influx of animals again, like cat wet food is a big one. Kitten food, we have tons of kittens right now, so they're going through it like crazy. And same with dog and puppy food. You know, that's something that we are looking at getting more of. And yeah, like same with the wet dog food as well too. So anything like that, because like I said, with puppies, we go through that wet food like crazy as well. So anything like that, we are definitely in need of.
There you go. So if you guys see anything on sale, or if you're out in the market, certainly maybe pick up a little extra for the SPCA and drop it off. Well, that's unfortunately all the time we have this week, Becca, but I want to thank you. I want to thank Tippy for stopping by, even though she's being a little shy there. Is all good. But oh, yeah,
there
we get a look at there. She does look like a very sweet regal cat. Yeah. So if anybody wants to meet, if anybody wants to meet Tippy, you know, call into the SPCA and, you know, go from there. So once again, thank you, Becca, and we will see you again next week.
Yes, for sure. We'll see you next week.
Manage your waste and recyclables with Quick Pick Waste Disposal. 100% locally owned and proud to serve and support the communities we call home. Quick Pick, the convenient solution to avoid pollution.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is artist Larry Fleet to talk about his newest album dropping on September 24th. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Can you tell us what your album called Stack of Records will have all involved?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of something for everybody. It's 14 total songs if you buy the full record, and then 13 for DSPs and streaming and all that. But it's got, I mean, a lot of songs. It's just different parts of my life, different periods of my life that I've written about. And, you know, I was a writer on all the songs, and I got to write with some great writers, big hit writers and stuff. And then I got John Party on a song with me, and I got Jamie Johnson on one. And so I got some pretty cool collaborations there. But yeah, it's country music for sure.
Is there something significant about this album compared to your previous work?
Yeah, I mean, the first album we put out was 8 songs, and it was fun. We just we were getting our feet wet, you know, just kind of getting into the thing, because I have a little different style, so we didn't really know how that was going to play out for everything. And so we put it out, and we gained a fan base from it, and got some good shows, and was out kind of doing our thing. And then I wrote Where I Find God, and we recorded it and put it out, and that's been the one that I've kind of had some success with and really got on the radio with and stuff. And that was all awesome. And Where I Find God is still one of my favorite songs I've ever written, and probably is my favorite song. But this new record I'm pumped up about, because I mean, it's just like I said before, every song is a little bit different, and whatever spot I was in when I wrote it in my life, it's very honest, and there's a little something for everybody. It's got some fun little songs and some stuff that might make you cry. I don't know. It's country music, like I said. So you're going to get all the emotions out of it. So.
Could you actually expand on some of the different collaborations you have on this album that fans can expect?
Yeah, I got one. John Party is on one song with me, and I wrote a song with some friends of mine, and it's called In Love with My Problems. And it's about a guy, you know, his girlfriend leaves him and everything. And the hook is, if I could fall in love with my problems, maybe they leave me too, because everything he loves seems to leave. And so he come in, it's kind of a honky-tonkin' kind of song, and it's driving, it's fun. And so he's on that with me. And then I've got Jamie Johnson on a song that him and I wrote together. It's called Highway Feet. And it was really about getting back on the road after COVID and everything, you know, because as musicians, that's where we make our living, is out playing music, and not only making a living, but it's fun for us, and we get to meet people and travel the country and play all over the place, and it's fun. We got shut down, and we were like, man, we can't wait to get back on our highway feet again. So that's where that song come from. And it was really cool when we recorded it, and it sounds like an old Jerry Reed song. And so I asked him if he'd come and sing on it with me, and he did. And we've, on one song, I've got Willie Nelson's harmonica player, Mickey. He come and played all over this one song. And so it's a real fun kind of thing going on. And then I've also got songs like Heart on My Sleeve that I wrote about, you know, just being a husband and a father and stuff like that. So there's emotional songs, and there's just fun songs that we have a good time with.
Now, there was a track that was released on August 27th from this album, correct?
Yeah, Different Shade of Red. And that actually is doing good. It's a little different than what I usually do. It's got a little more of a modern country kind of sound that you might hear on the radio. But it was fun, and we had a good time writing it. And Different Shade of Red I was talking about these guys I was writing with, that I used to be a totally different person. Then once I got married and had kids and stuff, like, I'm a little different shade of red now, you know, like redneck back here where I might have been a little trashy or something. And then now I've kind of cleaned it up, but I'm still country at heart. And it's just how I've changed over the years.
Is there a message for your fans that you hope they'll get after listening to this album?
Yeah, I hope whatever you're going through, I think there's going to be a song for you on this record. And I hope I wrote it as honest as I could. I'm a simple, honest songwriter, and that's what I've done with these songs. And so I hope that you take something away from it, and it helps you out wherever you're at, or makes you feel good, or makes you think, or whatever it is. But I hope it connects with you and does something good for you.
Is there anything else you'd like to add for people to know about, just concerning your new album and where they can access it?
It's going to be, you can find this record on wherever you stream music at nowadays. I mean, it's going to be there, iTunes and all that. And then we're going to do I got a pretty good following on YouTube, and we do a lot of videos and stuff. So there's going to be a lot more videos coming out. And so stay tuned on there, because we have a lot of fun with those. And wherever you find music, you can find this.
Perfect. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Larry. And for all you fans out there, get ready to listen to the Stack of Records album coming out on September 24th.
Yeah, thank you for taking time.
Now taking a last look at your 7-day forecast here on Wednesday and Thursday. As I was saying, it will be cooling down to 13 and 16 on both those days, but we will be seeing a chance of showers on both those days, so get ready to see some rain. But as we start off this long weekend on Friday, it will be a high of 18 with a mix of sun and cloud, and a high of 22 on Saturday, so a little bit warmer on Saturday with a little bit more sun peeking behind those clouds. Then Sunday we'll see a high of 19 with a mix of sun and cloud as well, and on Monday we'll be seeing a warmer day with a high of 20 with a lot more sun, and Tuesday we will be seeing cloudier skies with a high of 19.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News, and have a good rest of your night.